What should a founder do on a daily basis to blaze new trails?
A founder, and not only a founder, actually anyone for that matter, should engineer opportunities because we often believe that to progress in life, we need to seize the right opportunities. But I think that opportunities do not necessarily chase us. The best opportunities that we can pursue sometimes do not exist until the moment we engineer them. So, how can we engineer them? I believe there are two principles and three ways to do that. The two principles are be proactive and be visible.
Yeah.
And the three ways to do that, they are related to let's call them channels. And these channels are people, opportunities flow through people, media, and tech. So what do I mean when I say be active? I mean that at anything that presents itself in our life, we can look from the standpoint, we can discard it immediately if this new thing doesn't fit into our worldview or our schedule or our plan. But you can also look at it from the standpoint, okay, this is interesting. It's not a fit, it's not a perfect fit, but how can I potentially use it or utilize it to to grow, right? And I'm going to give you an example so that it's a little bit more tangible. Recently, last year, someone in my community shared an announcement of a podcasting boot camp. And by the time I received this announcement, I have had two podcasts under my belt that I produced, and for sure, I had no necessity to attend a boot camp to learn podcasting, right? But I looked at the boot camp and I said, that sounds like such a fun project. So I reached out to the organizers and I asked them, are you by chance looking for experts, for trainers to teach that? And they told me, we actually do. We don't even have a job description. We're just starting. But once we have a job description, we will send it to you. And if you want, apply. And that's exactly what happened. Once they had the job description ready, I looked at it and I said, this sounds like a perfect fit for me and an excellent opportunity. And I applied, I was selected, and I joined a 1 week boot camp for women, for female community builders that are planning to launch a podcast. It was on a beautiful, beautiful Greek island, literally 3 meters away from the sea, a perfect setup. And not only was that for me a chance to share my experiences and to help other women to launch their podcast and to earn money, but also I looked at it from the learning standpoint and I said, okay, this is an EU funded project. So for me, that was a chance to learn how those projects work and how I can apply for such a project myself and to organize something similar. So this is exactly what I'm doing this year.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that story. It makes it all very tangible. Now, do you think that when creating these new opportunities, do you have to go from something there is, as in your example here, like you saw that and then you actively asked, how can I use that to grow? Or can you also create new opportunities out of thin air? Nothing is presented to you. It's just you're thinking something and then going for it.
Absolutely. And I do that all the time. And I think I am in my life, I am where I am only because of that, because of engineering those opportunities out of thin air. Yes. And how you can do that, you can look around and say, okay, something does not exist. If something does not exist, let's create it. Something that does not exist, but you need, or something that you see that there is a gap on the market, some other people need it, for sure. And that's harder, definitely, and it requires a lot of resourcefulness. But also that's where the fun starts.
All right. So what is the limit of this? Like, should you just all day long go out looking for new opportunities, or do you have to put that as a sprinkle on top of everything else you do?
It is a muscle and a mindset, and I think you can do that every day, and you can do that on a nano level, micro level, macro level. And I don't think there is a limit here, because if you're an entrepreneur, you have to continuously validate new ideas, new hypotheses, and creating those opportunities is exactly that. And as an entrepreneur, you will make a lot of mistakes because you continuously validate new ideas and new hypotheses. And the more you do that, the better, because surely not every attempt that you make will be successful. But the more you try, the more successful you will be ultimately. So I would say, yeah, every day, try to see what else can I try out? Or what else is missing? Um, what are the new pursuits that I can open up for me today?
Wonderful. Now let's dig a bit deeper into this people, media, tech.
So tech is simple, right? So we can learn new tools that either simplify some processes and make us faster, more efficient. And sometimes we can also perform certain tasks that we haven't been able to perform before. Now, media. What is media? Media, when I talk about media, I don't mean only consuming media, but
Yeah,
consuming media can be helpful because it can help to do some trend watching. What's happening in the market? What are people talking about? Let's see. But also being in the media. As soon as you say that you have some kind of a media resource, let it be a blog, let it be a newsletter, let it be a podcast, let it be a YouTube channel. People's eyes light up because media is power, media is visibility. Why? Because media generates those inbound opportunities, right? So media opens up doors that you never believed existed. And finally, people, opportunities flow through people, right? And that means that it's not just about networking. Everyone talks about networking and how important it is to have a network. It goes much further than that. I think that we need to surround ourselves with people who not just support us, but who amplify us, who propel us on our journey,
yeah.
who create this space where we can thrive, who will mention our name in the right in the right room, at the right time, in the right place, right? Or who will also challenge us and help us identify our cognitive biases, our blind spots, who will be bold enough to say, Darya, what you're saying now is absolute BS. This is a cognitive bias. I have friends like that. I have friends like that who would just
That's
listen to
good.
me and
That's
tell
good.
me, do you realize this is your cognitive bias? And I'm like, no, tell me more.
Can we also use these 3 points diagnostically to say, okay, it's not really coming out there, it's not really manifesting in anything tangible. Can we use the three things diagnostically and see, it's because I'm not leveraging either one, people, media, or tech?
I think it can work this that way too. I think you can always try to reverse engineer a desired outcome, right? Because clearly we can't plan it all through, right? We cannot design a plan and then stick 100% it, because life happens and life is adventurous. Um,
Yeah.
but I think you can reverse engineer your expected results and then say, okay, so what are the resources that I lack? What are the gaps that I have?
Mhm.
And then very often, I think why we get stuck and why we do not progress is the mindset. In fact, it's not necessarily these
Mhm.
three pillars, but it's the mindset. And again, the limiting beliefs of the blind spots that we don't see. The problem with the blind spots is that we're unaware of their existence, right?
So that would also mean theoretically that you don't necessarily need all three things to succeed. It can be that you can blaze new trail with just people and media, and you don't have to involve tech.
Absolutely, absolutely. And depending on the field, depending on the area, depending on the opportunity you want to pursue, it can be just one, or it can be two.
All right.
Sometimes it can be three. I think the real power comes from the combination of the three, but it can be just one or two. Yeah.
All right, wonderful. So we know how to blaze new trail. We have to do it ourselves. We create our own opportunities, and we do it by being proactive, visible through people, media, and tech. And if it's not really working out as you to the extent that you wanted to, check your mindset, check with your friends, get some new perspective on your undertaking there.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Darya, for your insights on blazing new trails.
Thank you for having me, Enrique.